It keeps making all this noise out front. It's chopping wood. He knows I'm doing a video. Now we're hammering. French fries. Very necessary. Hello there and welcome. My name is Claire and this is my little creative space where I like to post videos on journaling and Bible journaling, knitting, and fountain pens. So I post knitting vlogs, tutorials, knit-alongs, the occasional podcast where we catch up on what I've been knitting, along with journal reviews, flip-throughs, fountain pen videos, my currently inks, and my favorite fountain pen and ink combinations, along with sometimes just having chats about how journaling and how these slow living activities can really help improve our mental health. So grab a cup of something warm, grab your favorite journal, your favorite pen, and maybe even your current knitting project. Come have a seat and let's immerse ourselves in cozy creativity together. So I've got Celestial Seasonings, Celestial Seasonings, apple cinnamon spice here in my mug today because for me, fall never leaves. It's always fall. It's always fall somewhere, right? All right, let's start. So along with traditional podcast style, let's first dive into my finished object. Now, I just began knitting again in November. I went through a very distressing year-long, very super deep depression, and I couldn't knit, I couldn't journal. Long story, we won't dwell on it. When I picked my knitting up again in November, it seemed as though my love for knitting was rekindled, and in just a few months I had knit many things. So I have a list here because some things I don't have in front of me. So I knit 3 Sophies. I knit my Musselburgh. I had Musselburgh, I don't know. The only other Musselburgh I ever knit was for my husband. But I used this really pretty sock yarn from Hobby Lobby. I don't remember the name of it, but I knit myself one, and I knit it kind of big because sometimes I like to have, if I have my hair up or something, then I like to have some extra space. But it's super soft. It blocked out. It's probably a little bit bigger than I really wanted it to be, but I have really enjoyed it. And I'm really glad I knit it, and I can see myself knitting more of these in the future, which pretty much everybody who's knit a Musselburgh says. My next finished object was the Salty Days sweater by Kutovakika. And I want you to take a moment and we're gonna play a game of Where's Waldo, except it's gonna be Where's the Mistake, okay? I was knitting a medium. I was that girl. And I don't know, I can tell. You see the bottom there? You see that? I ripped that part out probably 10 times because I kept thinking that I was doing something wrong. I was following the pattern, doing everything, and I kept thinking, this isn't rocket science. What am I doing wrong? But I am not adept enough with knitting techniques and math to have figured out how to fix it myself. So after ripping it out like 10 times and getting to the point where I wanted to stop knitting it and I wanted to cry, I went to Ravelry. There I found out that there was a mistake in this section of the medium, and there was another person who posted the way to fix it, but it didn't fix it. I was off somehow, so I think I was probably off by 1 stitch. But this one is one of the most fun and exciting ones, and see, I have it, it's great down here. Perfect down there. Everything else was perfect. And when I finally blocked it, it grew so much, but I love it because I wanted this to be a super oversized sweater. I love the folded neckline. I love everything about this sweater except the fact that I messed up this section. And if I wanted to go back and fix that section, I would have to rip out the entire thing, including the sleeves, because you pick up the sleeves all the way down here when this part's already finished. I don't want to do that. From start to finish, actually I have it written down. From start to finish, it took me 2.5 weeks. It's a beautiful sweater. I love the yarn. And the yarn is actually just this really cheap acrylic yarn that I had in my stash that I didn't have the ball band for anymore. I wanted to use it up. So it turned out really nicely, aside from my mistake there. And I'm sure maybe, so if you know of a way that I could use maybe duplicate stitch or do something else to fix these areas without having to unpick the whole thing and reknit it, please let me know, because I would really like to fix this, because I would really like to wear it outside of my house without feeling like people would point and laugh. I know that's not the case, but that's how I feel. So my next finished object, I'm sure you all will recognize and know. I knit a wool version of the Cumulus blouse. And I will tell you something else. I didn't buy the pattern for the Cumulus blouse. I literally used the pattern that I already had for the Cumulus tee. And I just used a slightly thicker yarn, and I knit a size larger than I knit for the t-shirt tutorial that I did a couple years ago. And it turned out fantastic. It is exactly how the Cumulus blouse looks. I did not do any decreases for the sleeves. I went straight down and then did rapid decreases with an I-cord bind off for these nice little bracelet length balloon sleeves. I'm actually a big fan of bracelet length sweaters because if it's any longer, I always end up pushing my sleeves up. So it turned out wonderful. You know, I was afraid at first that the neckline would plunge too low because I do not wear low necklines, but it doesn't. But what I've been doing is I've been wearing this over top of my dresses like this. So I have a couple of dresses that are just sort of like peasant style long maxi dresses. And during the winter, I wore this so many times over this dress and another one that I had. And it was absolutely beautiful. I love it. I am so proud that I knit this pattern again. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. This yarn was gifted to me by a viewer named Miss Lucia. Thank you so much, Miss Lucia. It is a yarn by Sandus Garn. And I lost the ball band. Sorry about that. But it's absolutely beautiful. I love it. And I've worn it so much, and I will continue to wear it. This is a petite knit really does know how to do classic knits. And so this is a classic knit that I will have in my closet for years and years to come. So my next finished object, I don't know if you've seen my previous video where I did a knit along of the willow tea towel. Well, I knit that beautiful yellow willow tea towel, and I made sure that it got to my daughter-in-law, and she really loves it. She enjoyed it. She immediately put it on her stove on the handle, and really liked it. And so because I don't have that yellow one to show you, I will show you one of the last ones that I knit. So the willow tea towel is I guess you could also call it just a hand towel. It's a kitchen hand towel or a tea towel. And it's just a beautiful pattern. So it's got a beautiful hurdle stitch top and bottom, and the center is an elongated seed stitch, and it's finished on the edges with I-cord edging and an adorable little I-cord hoop here on the top for hanging. And this is one of my very favorite patterns of tea towel or dishcloths hand towels to knit. It's fun and it's delightful. And knitting these things for my home just sort of bring a touch of warmth and whimsy and beauty into my kitchen, and I really appreciate that. A few years ago, I spent a lot of time knitting tea towels and dishcloths for our new home, and I truly enjoyed it. And so that is that finished object. So my next finished object that I just absolutely adore, I knit the Hobbiton vest by FabelKnitwear. Look at this thing! Isn't it beautiful? It is so hobbity. Oh my goodness. This vest was such fun to knit. It had a super interesting construction, especially because this middle part right here, this is a faux button band. And I'm not going to give away the pattern, but to get it there, it was so interesting and so much fun to do, and so much fun to just watch and see the whole pattern come together. We have an antique store just a little ways down from our home, and I found these 4 buttons in the antique store. They were from Walmart at some point many years ago, because for 4 buttons it was 83 cents. They're just sort of this brushed metal to look like roses, and they are absolutely beautiful. I did not pay 83 cents for them as they were in Walmart, but I think they just are absolutely beautiful. I love how this vest turned out. And for the yarn, it was just some yarn from my stash. It was this chenille-like DK weight, and it was a yarn from Hobby Lobby that I was given. And I used only 1 ball. So it just, I love how this vest turned out. I actually, in another video where I did a flip through of my 2024 journals, the thumbnail is of me in this vest. He is really building something amazing, I am sure. I am just right in front of the window too. So my last finished objects are a finished object, but not necessarily a finished object. I started knitting these teeny tiny socks. The pattern is by Summer Lee, and they're called Tiny Tree Socks. And the pattern is free. And my thought is that I want to knit a whole bunch of these so that I could have a nice garland for Christmas. They are so much fun to knit, absolutely adorable. I started and finished one of these in I would say probably an hour, maybe even less than an hour. So I figure if I knit maybe 2 of these a month, by the time winter rolls back around, I'll have enough for a nice little garland. I also want to knit some little miniature sweaters and some miniature hats too. I think that would be a lot of fun. I've also started knitting these really cute Christmas ornaments, and I think I'm gonna do a video on them as well, a tutorial for these ornaments, because they're just so cute and so much fun. So if you are interested in that, let me know so I can get busy on that. Now we're gonna move on to my works in progress, and I have several. So in no particular order, this one is the first one that I'm reaching for. Isn't this bag adorable? I made this bag. I knit this. All right, I did. I sewed this little sock bag. I just think it's super cute. It's a little bit too small, but you know, it is what it is. So I am knitting a pair of fingerless mitts for my favorite Aunt Beth, and I'm using fingering weight yarn, so sock yarn, And this particular yarn, okay, is that not, let's get this to focus. Look at this beautiful blue. And then here is how it's going so far. Oh my goodness. This yarn is so soft and the colors are so saturated. It is truly a joy to work with and to sit here and knit. But I'm just super enjoying working on this. I don't often have a knitting project or pattern that I want to take slow because I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy knitting all of my patterns, but I'm a fast knitter. Not because I'm trying to be, but just because I'm a fast knitter. But this one, I'll knit on it for like an hour or so, and then I'll put it down and I'll work on something else. And then I'll pick it up again. And it's because even though I want to get these to my Aunt Beth as soon as possible, I'm just holding the yarn and I'm doing the stitches and the knitting just slower. I'm just really enjoying the process. And it all has to do with this yarn. And this yarn is from an Etsy seller, Wandering Path Yarns. And this particular color was called the Water Poem. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a regular fingering, 75% merino, 25% nylon. It's just dyed so beautifully and I absolutely love it. So that one is there. Also, I knit this yarn koozie as well. I've knit a whole bunch of these lately, and you can knit one in like an hour or two. And so I've knit a few, and they're like super coming in handy. I keep asking myself, why haven't I been knitting these for ages? I don't know, but I have it now and I really like them. I've got like 5 of them and I'm gonna continue knitting more and more. So my next 2 projects, whips, are nothing really super special. I'm working on Sophie's again. So a while back, I knit my daughter and myself each a Sophie in this beautiful Madeline Tosh sock yarn called Joshua Tree. It's just absolutely stunning. Both she and I really like it. Both of our favorite color is green. So I knit one for her and one for myself. Well, as it turns out, she prefers her a little bit longer. So, being the lovely, wonderful mother that I am, I sacrificed my own Sophie and caked it back up, and I am now using that to make her Sophie even longer. I'm knitting it on size 2s, and since I'm using yarn that was previously knit, it's a little kinky, but it's fine. After I'm completely done knitting it up, then I will, this is where I started down here. I'll block this entire part of the scarf and it'll be just as lovely and beautiful as this side. So she's really excited for it. And yeah, I mean, Sophie is so great. It really is. These are my little charms here. I have to show you a little snail and a little cat. And I got this from when I got a knitting bag over Christmas, which I will show you in just a moment. So I have my Joshua Tree yarn and my Sophie. So I have the cake of Joshua Tree for my daughter's Sophie in another little cozy. And it's just, I really don't know why I never thought to knit these before. And I tell you, it was Knitty Natty who made me realize I needed to knit some. So I appreciate that. So surprise, surprise, I'm working on another Sophie. And this one is for myself because I frogged my green Sophie to make my daughter's larger. I decided to knit another one for myself. And why not? Because it's just it's the perfect scarf pattern. It just is. You can disagree with me, that's okay. Your scarf pattern is perfect and this one is perfect. They're just all perfect for different things and different reasons. That's what we'll say. But I love this pattern. I adore it and I will defend it to my dying breath. But anyway, this is how it's coming along. And I just started it yesterday. Now the yarn is actually something super special. I'm just about done with this bit here. And I have 2 more cakes. So we'll see how far we get. But this yarn is really special to me. This yarn was a gift for a friend of mine. 12 years ago. I used to live in Colorado and I started going to a church and I taught these women who became my group of close friends, I taught them all how to knit. And so we bonded over knitting and we all had kids and our kids would play. And it was a wonderful time in my life. And one friend had gone on a vacation somewhere. And when she had been gone, she went to a yarn store and she found this amazing green yarn. And she bought me some as a thank you basically for teaching her how to knit. And so I don't even know if you can get this yarn anymore. It's Classic Elite Yarns and it has a princess on the label and it's the colorway 3460. But this is what it looks like. It is this beautifully heathered green. It's just wonderful. I am really enjoying working it. Green is my favorite color. Green goes with everything. And it's working up so beautifully and it's so scrummy and luscious. It is acrylic and I don't care. It is soft and it's just, love it, and it has such a special meaning to me. So I'm pretty sure Ginger doesn't watch my YouTube channel. I'm like 100% positive that she doesn't watch my YouTube channel. But Ginger, if you are watching this, I have finally used your yarn and I love it. So that is another whip and I should be maybe finished with this by sometime tomorrow. But it's living here in this little bag that I got from this great store in Clayton, Georgia called Isadora Popper. And I will actually be uploading a video here very soon about my experience in Clayton, Georgia and with Isadora Popper, and I hope you will enjoy it. But isn't this the cutest little bag? It's from a company called Blue Q Bags. So they're made of 95% recycled materials. Super cute. I love it. On to the next one. So two more whips to share with you. I'll be as quick as I can. The next one is in this really adorable bag that I got around Christmas. It was a gift to me, and it's from the Anomalous Mind on Etsy. But I am knitting the basic organic cotton tee from Cleo Mae Smith, and I will include links to her Etsy store and Ravelry below. Cleo Mae Smith is a super underappreciated designer. She designs these very minimalistic, very classic designs for this cotton tee, V-neck. She's got a V-neck cardigan coming out, pullover, V-neck pullover, vests, very classic designs, very reasonably priced. But when you buy one of her patterns, you're getting 4 in 1, because she doesn't just write the pattern in one yarn weight. She writes her patterns in fingering, DK, sport, and worsted. So you get all of those. You get the pattern for all of those weights. Let me make sure. Yeah. Fingering, Sport, DK, and Worsted. So you're getting 4 patterns for in one pattern. And she's super, super nice and friendly in real life too. I am using BC Garn's Bio Balance. And I'm knitting it in fingering weight. And so this is a, let's use this instead. So this is a neutral, very sort of creamy oatmeal shade. Very, very soft, very nice to work with. It is a merino cotton blend. And even though it's going to be for a t-shirt, I feel like it'll be still nice to wear here in the summertime, even though I live in the deep south. Well, no, Louisiana was deep south. We're just in the south now. I live in South Georgia, but I still have every plan to wear this in the summer. So I'm using 2 colors. My main color is this natural color, and I have a accent color that I'm going to be using to make small stripes, very small stripes. I am actually utilizing 2 different patterns for this shirt. I'm quite excited about it. So the structure of this t-shirt is going to be the basic organic cotton tee from FabelKnitwear, but I am turning it into a library card shirt. So it's going to look like a library card. And it's going to be great, like super great. And I am using, I bought the pattern for the library card vest that's on Ravelry. I'll link it down below. But basically, I bought the pattern, I printed it out, and while I'm not making a vest and I'm not following the specs of the shirt or the dimensions for the shirt for that pattern, I'm using this one. I am using the pattern for the lines for the library card vest, and then you use duplicate stitch to write author and title, and it's just going to be so amazing. And this is going to be a project that's going to take me a little while because it's knitting a large t-shirt, because I made that mistake and knit a t-shirt in medium before when I did the Cumulus tee. I'm making that mistake again. So this is going to be a large, and it's in fingering yarn. So this is going to take me a little while, but I'm enjoying it. Knitting with this yarn is very nice. It's not like knitting with traditional like hard cotton where it really does a number on your hands and your joints. This is really nice, which I think has to do with the merino that's in it. And it's just really enjoyable. It's a raglan construction. Cleo May Smith is just a wonderful designer. She's got some new designs coming out now. Check out her Etsy shop. And if you do decide to shop from her, please let her know that Claire sent you. I do not get a kickback or anything special, but I have bothered this lady several times asking questions. And so I want her to know that I didn't tell her I had a YouTube channel, but I want her to know that she's helping me, and I'm not 100% weird. I'm a little weird. I'm a lot weird. But anyway, just tell her that Claire sent you. And she's got great designs, and they're all super affordable. These are classic designs that you will knit over and over again. I've already knit one of her other designs, 2 of her other designs. I have a pullover, and that's one of my favorite pullovers because it feels like a sweatshirt. I love it. Anyway, so that right there, no, I have one more. One more. We're almost there. I swear. Last one. If you have made it this far, you deserve a cookie. So the last pattern I'm making is my very first Colorwork pattern. I know. I've been knitting for 18 years, and this is my first Colorwork, and I am not doing well. It's not going well. This is hard. But anyway, so I am attempting to knit The Truth Is Out There socks for my 11-year-old daughter who requested them. I'm using, so the black yarn is Super Garn Active Tweed. It's exactly what it says. Active Tweed. And the bright green is called Green Frog, and it's from Good Noodle Yarn Co. You probably can't see. Anyway, it's Good Noodle Yarn Co. And this is the most adorable, sweet, lovely neon green. And it's got flecks of black in there, and it's just very, very beautiful. So I am working really hard on these socks. I have already knit and then pulled them out and then knit again and then frogged. I learned that a lot of people who knit colorwork socks prefer to knit them on 9-inch circulars because of the problems with tension when you're using double points or trying to do magic loop. So I'm trying. This is very new for me, a very different new skill. It is something I have been scared to do and try for 18 years. And I pulled out and I'm re-knitting, and I'm to the point where I'm just so frustrated. The closest real life yarn store to me is in St. Simons, Florida. And I want to drive there. I want my husband to drive me there, and I want to walk in the door and say, please help me do this because I am stupid. That's what I want to do and say. And so I may do that very soon, because I see all these other amazing knitting YouTubers, and they've only been knitting for like a year, and then they take on a colorwork project because they're like, yeah, watch me go. And I'm like, ah. And here I am, and I'm struggling. Like I'm and what these things should look like as I'm knitting. And I'm figuring out dominant yarn and non-dominant yarn, and I'm trying really hard, but I just keep making these mistakes where I feel like I'm making mistakes where then I end up ripping back. So far, this is the best one I've done so far, but I do need to rip back and redo it because this area right here between these two alien heads is too far apart. So I gotta go back. But anyway, I'm working on that. This may take me the entire 2025 to knit, which is really gonna stink because I've also promised both of my other daughters colorwork socks this year. So because I promised it, I have to deliver. This is the year. And I'm scared. So that is that. One more little thing here. I have this sort of ongoing project right here. Nothing special. I have no intention of like finishing these up super fast. This is Scrappy Sock. I learned how to do a toe up construction, and I learned how to do the cast on for the toes, and it was so much fun. And then learned how to do the heel, the toe up heel. And I'm almost done. I just need to knit a few more rows up here for the ribbing, and then this sock will be done. And I'm just using leftover sock yarn from the socks that I've knit over the past 2 years. And it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm also using leftover sock yarn to make these little guys too. So I'm using up my yarn, and I'm really enjoying it. And I would think probably within the next month or so, I'll have a pair of Scrappy socks. But this isn't a project that I'm picking up every day and working on. This is just it sits in here. And whenever I feel like it, I'll pick it up and knit a few rows. And I'm doing 5 rows of each yarn and then switching to the next one. So yeah, so that is it. That's my super complete update on everything I've been knitting, finished objects, whips, As far as plans for what I want to knit in the future, I do not have the brain power to think that far ahead. I do not. I don't make plans. I just see something and then I'm like, ooh, I want to knit that. And if I have the yarn, then I go for it. So anyway, thank you so much for sitting here with me and watching. I hope you had your knitting with you. I hope you got to knit. And I just thank you so much for all of you. I know you could have been watching other people's videos. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to sit through this video with me. And you are amazing and you deserve a cookie. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed and you enjoy this video, please subscribe. I thank you very much for your time. Take care and happy knitting.